Rob Hammond, Senior Director, Mobile Enterprise Services, Syniverse. Mobile is everywhere and it changes everything. Every way, every possible interaction that we have with users changes when you have the kinds of assets and connection with a user in building a tight personal relationship that mobile gives you. You know, mobile's more than a handheld device or a remote to my life. It's a sensor, it's a connection point, it's an endpoint on a network that's driven off of bandwidth and network and high-speed bandwidth. And we have unbelievable opportunities. You look at what happened in December, of 2014 in the holiday season with, actually crossing the point where more online traffic was mobile than not mobile. It's astounding. You look at some of the browsing and then the purchasing that's being done and the opportunities to be on your phone looking at something while you're in a store. It just changes the entire nature of engagement. Mobile engagement, or as we like to talk, it's all about me, mobile engagement. The conversation around how I interact and connect with my users, my customers, it just changes at the nature of being able to have that kind of attributes and capabilities and technology at our disposal. It's just an amazing time to be in retail. I like to break down the conversation into really how do I use mobile, because certainly it could be used for anything. There's lots of conversations about beacons and location and what do I use Wi-Fi for, how do I do, these different things, but that misses the point. The point is that we're really here because we're either trying to, increase revenues, reduce churn, increase store sales, or trying to service a customer in some way. So I like to think of it in really 4 different categories. The first one being how do I promote my products and how do I engage users in that promotional activity, increase the conversion rate associated with it. The second one would be around transactional messaging, and that's really keeping customers aware of what's happening and then providing them information to hopefully avoid a call to service or something like that, right, and managing the experience. The third one's loyalty, and that's all about relationship, right? Deepening that engagement and being able to continue the conversation with the customer when they're not in my brick and mortar store or on my site, but continuing that relationship in some way by a loyalty program or a engagement function or something happening in a social network of some kind. And then the final category, the fourth, being customer service. And mobile being a preferred channel, whether it be text or it be in an application or it be a web, where I'm trying to take and shift that expense, or better yet, just meet a customer at their point of desire, where I'm able to service them and provide them information. So as I think about mobile, it's changed the whole nature. It gives us opportunities to do things, but then the customer base has shifted as well. So now its expectations are, the customer base's expectation is that I'm going to be promoted to, I'm going to have transactionals delivered to me, I'm going to get loyalty programs, and I'll be serviced as a customer via mobile. That is the question, because it is about a journey, right? You don't walk in and say, I'm mobile, right? It's more of a gradual process of taking what you're doing today and hopefully doing well today and moving that to the channels where your customers are, kind of our first conversation around why mobile, right? So it's all about me in the sense of mobile engagement, and where do we begin? We begin with the customer. And that's really starting at the point of what do they need and what are you doing with them. So if I look at those 4 categories we just described, the next conversation is well, what channel do I use or how do I interact? And the first thing I would say is it's not digital, it's mobile, right? Digital is a technology, mobile is a channel. So as we think more broadly, I think there's a real challenge for the retailers as they think about their organizational structures and the digital organizations and digital marketing. It's really not digital, it's mobile. After all, 60–70% of email is read on a mobile device. More than half of the online traffic was mobile, off of a tablet or a phone. So the experiences and the opportunities that we have for how we think about engaging with users is just different. So one of the things we've done, because I've had lots of conversations, and one of the best parts of my job is being able to sit down and have this conversation with you, Paul, or connect with customers that we'll be out and talking to. And it's a confusing question, so we've developed a mobile engagement maturity model. And what that opportunity is it gives us a spacing of looking at the complexity of the space, and on the vertical axis we have device and application kinds of channels. So this would be things like SMS and email or MMS, or we'd have things like light applications or the web, light applications like Passbook or wallets, right? Or native applications and social. So that kind of gives you the vertical axis. And then on the horizontal axis, we'd look at things around how do we interact with moving data. So it could be as easy as a batch file and moving a file to something, or perhaps it's an API integration, so looking more like a marketing automation kind of function, or working with third parties and adding the business complexity of channel and content and things like that. So that helps us map the space. And what we do is we start with, where are you today? Well, I probably have an email program, a newsletter program. Maybe you have some phone numbers. You don't really know if those phone numbers are mobile or landline though, because we've been asking about home and work, not mobile and wireline, right? So helping sort that figure that information out, and then mapping a journey. Where do you aspire to be? Not everyone is going to be doing every channel for every customer. So it's about, what do you seek to accomplish? And then delivering that information at that point of need. And so we work really closely with companies in doing that. So one tool could be this mobile engagement maturity model, but it's also important for brands to work with people who are experienced in the mobile space, because it is a dynamic and a challenging environment sometimes. We have one enterprise that we worked with, a brand, and we do over 400 different combinations of language and country. So it's really important, particularly on a loyalty type application. You speak to the customer in the language that they prefer. So respecting a customer's preferences, respecting their privacy, and just because we can do something, maybe not that's the best choice for how you do some integration. So I'd suggest that you really start with, where are you at today? What are the assets that are available? What are your business goals? And then use a tool like the Syniverse Mobile Engagement Maturity Model and map out a journey with projects and expectations and assets that then become available as you move your way along that journey. Look at 3, 6, 9 month type programs. Don't go for a big bang 18-month activity. The market moves much too rapidly, so it's much better to keep the time frame manageable and focus on, again, the consumer.